Hi everybody, so in this video we're looking at the new Call of Duty Vanguard versus Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. How do they compare? If you enjoy Black Ops Cold War, will you enjoy Vanguard? Maybe if you didn't like Black Ops Cold War, maybe Vanguard's the game for you. What's the performance like? Is one better than the other? Now, bear in mind, though, obviously, that with this gameplay you're seeing, I captured the Vanguard footage from the beta. And even on the Xbox Series S, although it was running better than on my PlayStation 4, definitely isn't completely optimized yet. Because the first thing I'd say is Black Ops Cold War runs much smoother on the Series S than the Vanguard does on the Series S as well. And I do think a large part of that is due to just optimization. This is an older version of the game, Vanguard, an older build of the game. Now, there is no doubt that Vanguard puts a lot more stress on the next-gen consoles. The maps are large. We've got more players fighting each other. There is more clutter or furniture, if you like, on the map, I guess, to make them more immersive. But probably most important of all, it's easy for me to say, there's a lot more particle effects going off. There's a lot more dust flying around, explosions, bits flying through the air, and they are very heavy on your processors in your consoles. And I think Vanguard has got a lot more of that than Black Ops Cold War had. Now, these games do play very differently. People accused Vanguard of just being a Modern Warfare 2019 clone, a reskinned version of 2019, and that is not true. Sledgehammer have customised the Modern Warfare 2019 engine so that it rewards a more aggressive type of gameplay. We've got quieter footsteps. Sure, you can still mount your weapon, so you can have a very good defensive position where you've reduced the recoil of your weapon significantly. But it's not like Modern Warfare 2019 where you could hear someone running from miles away and you could just sit in a corner and pre-aim and pre-fire and take them out. Vanguard is much more like Black Ops, but this is not the Black Ops engine. For me, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is an incredibly enjoyable multiplayer experience. Arguably one of my most enjoyable ones. I mean, it's difficult when you look back, isn't it? Because there's been so many Call of Duties, but Black Ops 3 I super enjoyed. I put an awful lot of time into Black Ops 3, and that was another Treyarch version of Call of Duty. And although I've put a lot of time into the successive COD, especially Modern Warfare 2019, I've put an awful lot of time into Cold War, and I enjoy it an awful lot as well. I have a smile on my face when I'm sliding around and using an MP5 close-up and using something like an XM4 with a 3x scope for the distance kills. And I think it works very, very well. It really rewards, for me, Cold War, rewards thoughtful play. For example, when you're playing Domination and you're glancing up at the minimap and you're thinking, okay, so they're there, right, they've just pushed there, they're going to push around this corner, and then you can respond to that and you can take people out on the basis of what you've thought, if it's the right thing, the tactics you've put into play. In the beta with Vanguard, one of the problems they've had is that there's too many players in the maps. They've got this new different pacing, so we've got 6v6, maybe 7v7, but we've got 10v10, we've got 14 versus 14. I think there was a 20 versus 20 version, and definitely on the smaller maps, too many players is a problem. Like in the hotel map, that was a problem. The game just become chaotic. You'd fire your gun in one direction and someone would shoot you from the other. And you had the other problem, for example, on the big Pacific map, Goruku, I think it was called, is that when it went down to 6v6, I think, or 7v7, whichever it was, there wasn't enough people on the map. So that meant that it was too easy for people to go on these big long flanking routes and go through the various different sections, the different cut-throughs of the map, and come out behind you or on your flank, and you wouldn't have covered it and you would die. Or you'd end up hunting for enemies for ages, running around thinking, where on earth are they? the maps on Vanguard, these aren't Treyarch maps. Now, I know some people say, you know, 3-lane maps are boring and all this sort of stuff, but the beauty of the 3-lane map system, or a slight variation of it that Treyarch often use in their maps, the reason why their maps stay popular over, you know, throughout the years is because it means that when you pick up a new map, if it's a Treyarch map, if it's basically a 3-lane map, you're going to know roughly how to play it. And complicated maps are good. You know, it's great having a complicated map with lots of windows and lots of routes and lots of things you can jump through. The problem is when there's too many of them. So for me, a good example of this was when Modern Warfare was released, and this is probably going to be a bit like when Vanguard released as well, because I think Vanguard is releasing 16 maps at launch. So you've got all these maps at launch, and you can learn them. And the problems of having maps that are complicated with lots of sightlines, lots of windows to look through, lots of cubby holes to hide in, you can kind of get around that because you learn the map. But then the next thing that happens is when you get the next season comes out and they release more maps, if they're complicated maps, you've got less of a chance to learn them, and they become difficult to play. And I think this is a problem that Modern Warfare has, in the fact that I don't like playing Modern Warfare as much as I used to, because the subsequent maps that came out as part of the season releases, I didn't play them as much, and I didn't get to know them. Whereas with Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, because of the Treyarch map system, even if I haven't seen that map before, when I play it, I can have a quick look at the mini-map, or the big map in the pause screen, and within a few minutes you can have a good idea of what the flow of the map will be. Now, a big part of this may be from the beta, where people were just feeling out the map. People were running anywhere, like headless chickens, just running around, and they get these unnatural flanks, and there's no structure to the game. So maybe we'll see more structure coming in at launch, which I expect. But Vanguard is not a Treyarch game. We're not going to be seeing simple 3-lane maps, unless Treyarch allow Sledgehammer to remaster some of the maps and put them in. So it is going to be a lot more chaotic when it comes to the flow of the maps. You're going to have to keep an eye on things a lot more carefully, and really learn all those different sidelines, learn all those cubby holes, learn those windows that people will peek through with their sniper rifle that will take you out as you're going for the flag. So it's going to be interesting, because undoubtedly Vanguard isn't Modern Warfare 2019. It's somewhere in the middle between Modern Warfare 19's gameplay, gunplay and movement, and Black Ops Cold Wars. And what will be interesting is what changes go in before release, which way they go depending on the feedback that the developers listen to over those few weeks we've got left until the release date on November the 5th. Personally, I'm very excited. I'm a bit of trepidation as well, because I know, because of the limitations of my Series S, that if I've got Vanguard on my Series S, it probably means I won't be playing Cold War, because I'll want to fit Battlefield 2042 and Hell Let Loose and Vanguard onto the drive, and the drive's simply too small to have all of those running at the same time, which is a bit of a pain. Maybe I'll have to go back and start playing Black Ops on my PlayStation 4 again. But I think Vanguard's going to be a good Call of Duty. I've enjoyed my time with the beta, and I can't wait to see what comes with release. Anyway, that's enough for me. What do you think? Put your questions in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. And I will, of course, see you again soon.